Hi, Scorpio and Scorpio Rising. Here is your horoscope for November 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, we are nearing the end of 2025, but this is going to be one of those weird months. Even though the sun is going through your sign, this is your time of the year, and Mars is going through your sign right here as we begin the month of November. What makes this a bit weird and strange is the retrogrades that are going to occur and some of the alignments that are going to happen this month, bringing back the past. So now for some of you, it might have already started, but it's going to highlight things pertaining to finances, relationships, maybe jobs. This is all from the past that may resurface again. So if you're a Scorpio sun sign or a Scorpio rising, this is a very general, basic overview using the tropical whole house Western astrology, where we equal out all the houses and we put the sign on the ascendant here, whether it's the sun or the rising, it doesn't matter. And then we see where the planets are falling. And this gives us an overview of what the month looks like. Now, your birth chart and, your birthday is going to be completely different. But this gives you a baseline to what's going on in what areas, okay? So as we start off this month, you're focused on your drive, your determination is probably very strong, especially having the sun and Mars both in the first house. Now, the second half of the month, they will both be leaving and will be going into Sagittarius, the second house of income and value. The problem lies is Mercury's going to be retrograde in that house as well. We got Jupiter that's going to go retrograde here, and Uranus is going to backtrack into Taurus once again. So making, 5 or 6 planets in retrograde. So it's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on, while you're looking in the rearview mirror. And that's the kind of weird energy. But there is good news here. The new moon this month will highlight this first house of identity and self, which is going to help bring some awareness to some of these things that are going to be popping up this month, or especially around finances and relationship. Those seem to be the two areas that are being highlighted. So let's start off. Now on the 5th, the first week of November is a little tricky because of all these alignments that I'm going to talk about here. First, we have Mars entering Sagittarius, which is great. Mars in Sagittarius is very optimistic, gives you more drive to making money, anything to do with resources, your values, having more fun, more adventure. All of that is wonderful. But notice what it's doing right away. Mars comes in and it begins to oppose Uranus, the wild card. And both of these houses represent financial matters or have something to do with your values or your belief systems. So there could be some tricky, thoughts and ideas or premonitions or awarenesses that come in with this Mars as soon as it enters Sagittarius. And so this is, a cautionary time here. Don't make any hasty decisions. Don't make any, impulsive buys. That kind of stuff is what I'm talking about. Surprises, could come out of nowhere at this time. Mars opposes Uranus, can be full of surprises one way or another, good or bad. It doesn't matter. But at the same time this is all happening, the full moon is also happening right here in the 7th house of relationships. So maybe, I'm just going to give you an example. I'm not saying it's actually happening. Let's say you have a business partner and you find out they're stealing money, that kind of stuff coming to light. Or a relationship where someone in your life is cheating on you, or maybe a relationship has run its course, or maybe a contract or an agreement or a partnership is finally, done with. It's a realization about another person here with the full moon in Taurus. And it could have something to do with your values and, your investment in this other person and vice versa. They could surprise you with, hey, if you're in a marriage and the person comes home and says, I want a divorce. I'm just using those as an example as the surprises that are in the mix here, only because Mars is opposing Uranus and the full moon is being activated. So it involves other people because that's the 7th house. You see how it works in astrology? So this first week could be a lot of stuff coming at you financially or from a partner or partnerships. So you need to pay attention to that. Now, speaking of partnerships, Venus, the sign of partnerships, enters your sign right there on the 7th of November. It's actually on the 6th into the 7th. So here we see Venus in Scorpio, which now makes you much more appealing to other people, or financial matters get brought to the forefront as well, because Venus in Scorpio can be very driven to attain things, or settle payments, or make investments, or just more passion. And so this is a very promising time for many of you, where you're feeling fortunate. You're feeling like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. I feel lucky. Let's go here. Let's do this. Let's travel. Let's explore. Let's spend money. And that's very possible with Venus at Scorpio. So this could be beneficial till the end of the month. Just be wise about some of the choices you make. Now, Uranus backtracks into Taurus on the 8th right there. So here we have Uranus going into Taurus for the last time in our lifetime, because it won't return to Taurus for another 84 years. So here we see it going back into that 7th house of relationships. So once again, the theme of relationship resurfaces, and this has to do with the past because it's in retrograde. Okay, and so this is going to be very important. So maybe there's an issue from the past, there's an issue from last year, whatever, last month, and this is going to resurface. But this will continue all the way till the beginning of next year, when it finally moves direct and then, of course, leaves Taurus for good and goes into Gemini, back into the 8th house. So there's unresolved issues here with another person, or something that you need to take care of, or at least pay attention to over the next couple of months that may be very important. Now, the other thing that this could also represent, not necessarily on a personal level, it could represent what they are trying to implement, this new financial system, where everyone is going to be tagged like a bunch of cows, and, you have to get some sort of digital identification in order to prove who you are, and, all of that stuff. And they're trying to implement that right now as we speak. So we'll see how it plays itself out. But that could be something in a societal way, and maybe you're having to adjust your investments and, how you do your business, that kind of stuff. Now, Mercury will also go retrograde around this time, and there it is in stationary position once again in the 2nd house of income and values. So we're seeing a lot of financial matters. We're seeing a lot of, your value system here. And so this is what I mean by, at the beginning when I said financial issues, or things pertaining to money. But again, you got to look at this when we have retrogrades. It means going back. There could be an element of confusion or uncertainty in the mix. That's why I'm saying it. And, this is not going to help much. So for 3 weeks, this is going to retrograde, and it's going to retrograde back into Scorpio. So you are front and center with this retrograde. Jupiter will also go retrograde in Cancer right there in the 9th house. So now, over the course of the next 3 to 4 months, as Jupiter makes its way backwards, there's a sudden feeling that, something from the past that I need to understand, or give it meaning, or maybe you have a sort of maybe a political, some ideology of some kind, or a belief in God or religion or something, and then you're questioning it all. That's the kind of energy I'm talking about with Jupiter in the 9th. And so maybe you're revisiting a place that you used to, visit before, that kind of stuff, or your imagination is bringing you back into the past. Now, I want to show you how many planets we have retrograde here. We have Mercury retrograde, which is big. Jupiter is now slowing down to go retrograde. We got Uranus that's retrograde in another sign. We have Saturn and Neptune both retrograde in Pisces. So we have all this retrograding going on, and we also have Chiron here, which is not really a planet. But we're seeing the past opening up in a big way in order to resolve it in some way. And that's what I'm suggesting here. So, move forward, but in a smart way, and don't make any major life-changing decisions. Mercury retrogrades back into Scorpio around the 19th. There it is, right there. So now this really affects you, because now this is about you, your identity, your relationships, your finances, your partnerships. All of this stuff is front and center with this retrograde now. And what makes this even more important is the new moon is in Scorpio at the same time. So here we have you reinventing yourself in some way, because it's in the 1st house of identity and self. And so now you're really taking a hard look at where you've been, what you've been up to. Is this what I really want? Are these investments good for me? All of that stuff is going to be playing a major role in this decision-making time. And again, you don't have to take any big steps, but whatever this is that's coming in or confronting you, just take it easy. Go into it, see how you're going to resolve the matter, how you're going to reinvent yourself, because that's what a new moon in the 1st house means, reinventing oneself. And so this could be very important over the next 2 weeks. We also have Sun entering Sagittarius, which definitely helps, because the Sun is very optimistic in Sagittarius. It speaks its mind. It loves to understand and learn, and Mars is already there. So this could be a good time to reevaluate your finances. And maybe you might feel lucky and you might take some more risks with your money. Or you might find yourself traveling, exploring, and maybe getting to understand the deeper meaning of life. Because remember, Sagittarius is philosophical. It's the big picture. Why are we here? What is God? Stuff like that. And so this could play into all of that. So this is going to be an important time as the Sun and Mars, which again can be very optimistic or fortunate. So don't take this as a negative. This could be a good time to maybe make an investment of some kind, okay? Only you will know in your birth chart. And finally, Mercury goes direct on the 29th right here. There it is in stationary position. Now you're getting some clarity. Now you're getting some better understanding. So if you're going to make any investments, I would wait until the first day or two of December before you move forward with those ideas and those plans, because Mercury is moving forward and you'll get a better understanding of what's happening. All right? So there you have it. There's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended version of this in my Inner Circle community. I also do the weekly astrology update, which the members really do enjoy. And of course, every Sunday we're on the Zoom call with the members. They ask me questions. Some people give me their charts. They want me to answer a few questions for them. And we go over current events, what's going on. And of course, there I talk much more freely than I can here on YouTube about things that are hidden, what's really going on, who's controlling things. I show you the evidence. And so we have a really good time on Sundays. So consider joining. I left the link down below, and I hope to see you in the community. All right, have a great month, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.